Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 3 in the Slingshot series. My name is Nithya Karia. I'm a productivity and lifestyle coach, helping busy women release their stress and their exhaustion using 5 simple habits so they can take control of their time and their tasks and get more done with more joy. So this week, I've got a question for you. How often have you been called out for mentally checking out of a conversation? Okay, maybe it's your kids calling you out. Maybe it's a coworker or a boss who's noticed that sort of glazed over look on your face. Maybe you've just realized that all of a sudden you haven't heard the last 15 seconds or 30 seconds of a conversation that you're in. Whatever it is really powerful to be able to feel more in control of our thoughts. And so my help for you in today's episode is really around the idea that following your wandering thoughts can actually help you become more present. So let's dive into that right now. First of all, why is it important to be present? Let's just address that really quickly. Being present really helps us live into the experience that we want. It helps us engage with people in a way that is sort of our best self showing up, right? It's the way that we invest in other people when we listen, when we engage in a way that makes people feel seen and heard, and it's really the way that we're connecting with other people. So it's really vital whether you're doing this at, in a work setting or in your personal life, whether it's someone you just met or, someone that you have a very deep relationship with. It really doesn't matter. Being able to be present, being able to really hear people, keep our own minds clear, right? And not just have them start to fill up with thoughts while we're listening to someone else is really, really powerful. So how can we do this? Because it happens to the best of us, right? Whether we meditate or we don't, or, however, maybe you have a mindfulness practice, maybe you don't. This really isn't about where you are in this journey. This framework that I'm going to show you today is really supportive no matter where you are. And I want to emphasize that there isn't, mindfulness is a practice. Being able to be present is a practice. It's something you get better at, the more you sort of flex this muscle. But I also want to remind you that it's really as simple as a choice. And so I want you to never feel like you have something wrong with you, that you're lacking, that you have an attention problem, that you, are somehow broken in any way. None of that is true. All right. It's simply just a habit. We are in the habit of allowing our thoughts to be in control of us. And so this 3-step framework formula that I'm really walking you through is really how we start to kind of take back some of that control and say, all right, I get to be in charge of my mind. So here it is. And it's just 3 simple steps. All right. The first is you're going to notice that you're having a thought. So notice this thought. And the second is to trace it back to an emotion. So I'm going to follow this thought. For example, I'm an entrepreneur and I used to have a lot of trouble at the end of my day, really finding a clear end of day for me because I work at home and, the work is really never done. That's probably true no matter what we do, right? So what I did is I followed that thought and I thought, all right, I kept noticing that my mind kept going back basically to a list, and it often had to do with what I needed to do the next day. I started to already think about, what was going to need to happen going forward. So what I did was I offered myself a solution, which is the third piece of this framework, this formula. And the solution for me is that I really I noticed that there was a lack of trust, that I was somehow just not able to fully shut down because I didn't perceive, it wasn't clear to myself, really, my mind, right, that I was going to be set up for the next day. So what I did was I set myself up for the following day. So on Monday night, before I shut down my work routine, my work schedule, I would go ahead and pre-plan my Tuesday, and if need be, the Wednesday, right, Thursday, if there was a bigger project. But I would offer myself a sort of visual by writing it into my planner. And so by doing this consistently, I started to actually have the outcome that I wanted, right? I was able to let go, and I noticed that every day when I got up, I didn't need to spend the energy thinking about what needed to get done. I could jump right into my day. And just eliminating that transition, that thought period where I could just jump right into action was the support that I needed to be able to shut down at the end of my day. So this is as simple as my formula is. It's three pieces, right? So you want to identify the thought. You want to trace it back to an emotion, because emotions are information. It's as simple as that, right? I don't need to really sit with the feeling of overwhelm or the stress or whatever. I just need to know, what is the emotion trying to tell me? It's just information, right? Even if it's fear around something, it doesn't need to be something big and scary. I just get to say, all right, what is some small piece or entire solution, right, I could offer myself? And that's that third component. So when you go through these three pieces, each time you'll find again that we feel like there are a million thoughts that race through our head, but the solution is often, just around a few simple things that we can do to support ourselves. So that's all for this episode. And if you're really enjoying this kind of strategy and support, I'd love to support you further. So, click below, sign up for a free clarity call where we will create a map that's really unique to you, because it's so important to identify where we are, where we want to be, so we can clearly identify the path to getting there. So I'll see you next week.